Welcome to AI Driven, a podcast about using AI for business. AI Driven is produced and hosted by Cognistics, an AI company based in Pittsburgh with offices in the US, Latin America, and Asia. Welcome to AI Driven. Joining us for a discussion today about ChatGPT and Cognistics Square is Cognistics CEO Sanjay Chopra and Senior Data Scientist Kaushik Shakari. Welcome to you both.
Thank you, Patty. It's a pleasure to be on again with you and Kaushik.
It's always a pleasure to have you guys on. So in the last couple of weeks, we've done quite a few podcasts about Square. And today we're looking at how Square, which is one of Cognistics' flagship products, how it compares and differs to the trending ChatGPT by OpenAI. Now, Sanjay, why don't you start us off and tell us why these question answering tools like ChatGPT and Square, why they're so popular?
Thank you, Patty. Again, it's a pleasure talking to you. And I think that's a great way to get started. At the end of the day, why QA or question answering tools are so important is as the World Wide Web was evolving and coming about, the big thing was search, finding the information, finding what you're looking for. And at the end of the day, the reason why we search, whether it's an open-ended search like on the World Wide Web or a closed search on a select corpus of documents, is to answer a few questions we have. What is the nearest restaurant to me? So we obviously are now so used to that to go to Google and just type that in. Or we could do a more closed search on a given set of legal documents and say, what is the revenue share for this particular agreement? In both these cases, what I want the tools to do is go read all the documents that are underlying there and tell me the answer to my particular question. So that's where the evolution is from an AI and a natural language processing is coming, is finding the right answer to my question. And that's the reason why these tools are so popular.
Okay, great. So Kaushik, now tell us, what is ChatGPT by OpenAI and what it does? And then tell us a little bit about Square.
Sure. So, ChatGPT is a natural language processing chatbot developed by OpenAI. It is designed basically to learn from human conversations and generate human-like responses for any user input. And I've been getting this question from this community, like how ChatGPT is similar or how ChatGPT is different from Square, right? And uh, it's very hard to straight away compare ChatGPT and Square. Reason it will be like probably comparing Messi from soccer versus probably Roger Federer from tennis. Uh, However, both are designed for question answering tasks, but ChatGPT is very open ended. Like you can even ask to generate poems, or you can even ask to generate code or explain code, etc. Whereas when it comes to Square, we focus on industries, we focus on use cases, we focus on customers, because each customer has their unique challenges, where it be extracting certain documents, extracting text from certain documents, or where it be extracting information and also validating and putting in certain format at the end. So our focus has been to industries. We focus on the business than being very generic in doing every question answering task.
So, Patty, if I may jump in here, so what Kaushik explained sort of is basically a good way to think about it in a nice, concise manner is uh, at the end of the day, Square is a closed, extractive QA tool. And let me explain that a little bit better. Closed meaning it looks at a given set of documents, business specific, community specific, research specific, and it also is extractive. Most of the models that we use are looking at finding the right information. In some cases, we use an ensemble of generative models, but that's the whole idea there is to sort of within that corpus of text find the best answer. On the other hand, ChatGPT is an open generative model. And what I mean by that is it's been trained on all publicly available information prior to 2021. It generates the answer, so it infers a lot. Hence, when Kaushik was saying that it can come up with a marketing blog or uh, sort of, find things that really don't exist and generate things based on what it has read. That's the big difference. The problem with some of the generative models is sometimes it comes up with things that may not be factual. And as you and I will know well, is that it will not fly in the business world or sort of if somebody is looking for a specific answer. So that, in my mind at least, is a big differentiation between the two.
So if I had Square in my using it for my company, it would only be looking at my documents. Is that correct?
Yeah, your documents and probably the relevant documents that you identify from probably certain websites, like trusted websites, right?
Okay.
Today's internet is like it's very hard to find what is correct and what is wrong in very open internet. So we work with domain experts. In this case, we will work with you and get your documents and identify some websites which are very relevant, and then create this corpus of documents and use it for question answering. Yeah.
Okay. So what is the underlying technology and language model used for Square, and how does that compare or differ from ChatGPT? And I guess before you even answer that, should we be comparing the two?
Sure. So, yeah, I mean, again, it's very hard to compare things, but the whole idea of question answering getting evolved is because of this language modeling. The concept of language modeling is making machines understand what language mean. It can assign probabilities for the possibility of the sentence. Uh, and yeah, when we compare, right, when we get your data, in your case, we train specifically for your requirement. Some of our customers say that we want answers to be short, and we want, yesterday we were talking to a customer, even Sanjay was there in the call, and he was telling that the top answer should be most relevant answer with very high confidence, right? And this is something, a common requirement from our customers. We are looking at their exact data and they want very high accuracies. Whereas if you take ChatGPT, it's not trained specific to your data or your domain, right? So that's why, yeah, if you consider ChatGPT, it will be something like an average student who is doing good in multiple tasks instead of Square, where we focus on your data and get good accuracies there. Yeah.
So what kind of information does Square actually look for? What kind of results does it provide? Can you go a little bit further?
Let me jump in there. So, Patty, what Square would do for you in terms of question answering, like you asked earlier, go through your corpus of documents, or like Kaushik was saying, other augmented documents that we have scraped or gotten from reliable web sources. It would then use appropriate NLP models to extract, find the best information, even generate to some case. So the underlying base modeling and technology is kind of similar in both cases. We obviously use an ensemble where ChatGPT is sort of a, a deep neural net generative model, pretty advanced and expansive from that perspective. But those things can be built into our tool as well. And the idea for Square would be to give you the best possible answer that it can find. You may ask a question which is not directly related in terms of keywords or finding, hey, show me. So there's a lot of way, as you know, in English, to ask a given thing. So it can understand that context, find the best information, and then show the respective answer to you.
Yeah. And just to add to Sanjay points, I will take this opportunity to introduce our sub product called Feast. When we engage with our customer, we use this product, which is a feedback analytical system, to collect training data from customers. And we also do have a separate set of models. If you don't have enough resources to create those annotations, we can do something called active learning, where model will help you to create this training data. Once this training data gets created, we use that for certain specific requirements of the customer, how they want to see results, and train accordingly. And we do a lot of data centric AI. We are very specific to this data, and we have been collecting a lot of data from internet and from different sources, and train these models. So we can also use this ready to go models, apart from training those on top of annotations, I would say. And that's how we are trying to achieve highest accuracies for this specific use case, because we try to be very customizable for for the use case. Yeah.
And very nice. What kind of businesses and industries is Square ideal for? I know that you've worked with a variety already. Tell us a little bit more what you've seen and who's most interested and could make the best use from
Absolutely.
Square.
So, Patty, three areas where we've seen a lot of traction. One is the legal domain. Obviously, law firms, lawyers are notorious for generating documents, and then as a result are doing due diligence or finding the right information, or what we call, needle in a haystack from a legal perspective, or you want to look for an answer quickly. That's the legal domain that where Square is very applicable. Also, when you're incorporating a company, and you need to search the web for government websites to see if a company name already exists or other things. So a lot of that stuff can be now automated as a result of maturity of these models. The other area is compliance. And compliance is where companies that have to, again, review information, let's say for online gambling, for various states that allow gambling, sort of, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Ohio, how the laws differ, how the laws are similar, or look at HR laws across the board, and then be able to quickly sort of find the right information and send it to you or alert you if the laws or regulations change. So you can then change your applications for if you're FanDuel or DraftKings or HR applications to be compliant with that. So that's the compliance. The third area is actually airlines. And airlines also are very regulation heavy. And this actually brings back a lot of memory. So, not quite as a researcher, obviously, our co-founder, Dr. Eric Nyberg, has been in the forefront of this from an NLP perspective at Carnegie Mellon University Language Technologies Institute. And his research actually from the mid 2000s has been related to question answering or QA systems. And even early on, Eric and I used to be talking to Boeing at Carnegie Mellon to do research, to do search on plane maintenance documents. So think about mechanics that are either doing handwritten notes or typing something in an iPad to see what maintenance was being done in an aircraft. And now you have to, if that aircraft again needs maintenance, I obviously want to know what had been done, what had changed, so make it searchable. Or if I'm a Boeing engineer, kind of similar to what we've done with Society of Automotive Engineers, I should be able to find the right part or material for a given standard and see what standards get impacted as I change the design of aircraft. So that's in the industry again, large amount of documentation, large amount of needs to comply with all the regulations and safety requirements. So Square with the QA capability is very applicable there. And then obviously by being on a closed corpus of documents and training heavily and annotating, the answers that Square gives can be much more reliable versus generative models, because the last thing you want to do is ChatGPT or something similar to that, coming up with an answer when it comes to airline safety.
So, what would you use ChatGPT for? I mean, I can see the relevance of Square for for a particular industry, or looking from within your own documents. It,
So, like Kaushik was saying earlier, and the ChatGPT has lots of usage. That I can say, hey, ChatGPT, write a blog for me on question answering tools, or like write a blog for me on about data quality, and it comes up with a bunch of content that is already seen on the web, or give me few points that relate to immigration or things. So the base content is so rich and so powerful. That's the big appeal with tools like that. So now I'm not starting from scratch. I've gotten a huge set of great documentation that has been, deep neural net models have been trained on to find that information and present it to me. So it's really, that's where I think the interest of Microsoft in these tools would be a great way for them to revive Bing, their search engine that doesn't use that much, is not
well,
used as much because of the prevalence of Google. This is a game changer from that perspective because what it can do is you can ask a question, it can search all the information and find that right content and answer the question better from that perspective. Sorry, you were saying something?
I was just wondering, should Google be worried?
Google,
Yeah.
go ahead, Kaushik.
No, what I meant to say is I don't think no one is worried right now. Like everyone have data, everyone have these models, but everyone are worried about this generation, right? How sensitive this generating tools can take it to. I do have 5 years nephew who is using to ask some questions, and there has been a discussion in education that people are using ChatGPT for doing their assignments, and what should we do now? So there should be another AI which should govern everything. So that's the questions. Like it's like a very good technology to use, but how are we gonna use in society, right? So that's the problems and challenges that comes with generative models than much controlled models that kind of we use for Square for businesses, right? So that's where I think people are worried, but yeah, they do have technology. I believe. I am not from Google, so I believe, but everyone are worried about governance right now. Yeah.
Yeah. See, the problem with Google being so prevalent, and so they should be a little bit worried. The little bit worried part, at least, is clearly is my perspective, comes from, it revives Bing or it revives other search engines to sort of get a little bit of market share, and obviously AdWords is a big part of the revenue stream for some of these companies, right? But what Google can do, like Kaushik was saying, they obviously have similar technology or can evolve or develop similar technology. But the key would be to have differentiation within the results page of any given search. So right now they use show sponsored links, and then they use the actual links. Maybe having a sidebar somewhere in that search results page and saying, hey, by the way, here is what our generative models are providing as an answer to what you were saying. And I think then that the user experience would be even better, and they could sort of, use and plug AdWords or sponsorships accordingly there. So that's how they should address the challenge. But I think they should be a little worried because if other people have a better generative models and are generating good content, which is getting a lot more traction, it takes a little bit away from your AdWords revenue.
Yeah, there
Right.
you
Right.
go. Well, that's interesting, but we don't have to worry about that with Square. But what kind of training and setup is required for Square? I mean, how do you, is it difficult? Is it challenging when we're talking about a new platform?
Yeah.
Go ahead,
So
Kaushik.
Yeah, sure, Sanjay. So there are different ways to train, right? Because the requirements might be little different, right? You would like to have short answers. Some people might like to have long answers. Uh, so a company might not have enough annotators to do annotations because these are large language models which require probably huge annotations. But what did at Cognistics is we come up with different ways where we don't completely manually annotate this data. We also use different models to create these annotations. So it's like AI fueling AI itself, but with where the humans are monitoring the entire process. So Feast will enable you to do that. We are completely fine based on your resources. We can take what annotation approach is better for you. So our data scientists will guide you from start to end and do the process like more smoother for you for your company. Yeah.
Now, I know Cognistics is offering a free month of Square. Tell us how someone can take advantage of that.
Yeah, so I can just add to this. So basically, it's good. Like what OpenAI has and OpenAI's ChatGPT has done is good because a lot of people are getting aware. Now we are like also in the process of educating users how they can use this for their own use case. Uh, this 1 month free trial will enable users to try it and also see how powerful Square is for their data, then how they want to finally integrate with us, right? So that's what this 1 month free trial does for users. We just want to educate and we want to create this awareness how powerful these models are, because personally I'm very happy of what is happening, that everyone are asking these questions, because we have been investing in this technology for last 3 years and much more. So this free trial will basically help you to get understand how this can be useful for your use case. Yeah.
And I know that on Thursday, January 26th, you and other members of the Cognistics AI and product team will be hosting a webinar on Square specifically. Where can they sign up, and can they also demo the product?
I think the best way to sign up is at our website, www.cognistics, COGNISTX.com, or you can send an email to jagrati@cognistics.com. And I think that way they can sign up for the webinar. And I really would sort of, encourage a lot of the listeners to use the 1 month free trial, like Kaushik was talking about, so that we could show you the power of the tool on your corpus of documents, seeing the ROI and seeing the business value you can get from Square.
That's really great. And again, for anybody who is interested in attending the webinar on January 26th or taking advantage of the 1 month free, visit cognistics.com. That's COGNISTX.com. You can email Sanjay maybe directly, SANJAY@cognistics.com. And ask more and demo the product and use it for a month, which is a great way of seeing how powerful the tool is. Before we go, any final words from both of you?
No, I think I'm good. Thank you again, Patty, for hosting this podcast. Kaushik, your contributions were awesome, and we look forward to hearing from a bunch of listeners out there.
All
Yeah,
right.
thank you. Thank you, everyone. Yeah.
Take care, and we'll be back with another show from AI Driven in a couple weeks. See you then.
Thanks for listening in. Learn more about how AI drives what we do at cognistics.com.